Hey there, 5th graders. This is Miss Broyhill bringing you your clay lesson. I know that some of you have Play-Doh, some of you have modeling clay, some of you have modeling magic. I've got earthenware clay. If you want some earthenware clay, let me know. I can get you some to Miss Vanessa at the office, and you can make your clay dragon at home with it and get your initials on it, and you can get it back to me. But you got to bring it back to me while it is still a little wet, because that's when, if it's completely dry, that's when it's the most fragile, is when it's totally dry. So you let me know which one you want to do. I'll be glad to help you out. But if you're using the other man-made clay, that's fine too. So what I have got 3 lumps of clay. One is a little bit smaller than a tennis ball. One's a little bit bigger than a golf ball. The other one's about the size of a ping pong ball. So that'll be how we will put, these are some good sizes to create your dragon. The first thing we've got to do is make the base for the dragon to sit on. So what I do is roll out this ball of clay. It's about as big, a little bit smaller than a tennis ball. Roll it out, doesn't have to be smooth. You can roll it on the table. And I want you to mash it down. You do not want to mash it too thin. So we're going to do a little bit of measuring on how thick it is. So on the side, I'm going to have it about as thick as my finger. So I'm pretty sure that'll be good for you guys. So you don't want it thinner than your finger. If you're measuring it, I'd say that's about a ½ inch. So if you wanted to get out a ruler and measure, it's about a ½ inch, but no less than a ¼ inch. So here is your base that your dragon's going to sit on. We're going to put it over here to the side. We're going to get this. Let's see. We'll use this one first. The lump of clay that is about the size of a ping pong ball. Roll it, make it into a ball. Then I want you to go back and forth and make it a little bit more narrow. Probably about the size of a hot dog. One of the jumbo hot dogs. Then I want you to mash it down. This can't be thick either. This has got to be probably about a ¼ inch. So it's about half the width of your finger, your pointy finger. So this is going to be, should be shaped pretty close to a rectangle. And what you will do, I'm using a clay needle. You can use a paper clip. And I want you to carve really wide zigzag lines. But don't get close to the edge. Stay in the center. Carve it. Then take your paper clip, and you know we've used those for years at school. Carve out your zigzag line. This is what's going to be the wall that's going to help hold in your dragon, or eggs if you put some eggs in on the base with your dragon. And the reason I chose the zigzag lines, and you can change this, you can make your wall however you want to, but this is the wall that I'm choosing. So if you wanted to make it look like a castle top, you guys already know how to do a castle top line. It would look like the top of a castle, and it's squared off, if you remember, and it could look like the dragon is on the top of a castle. But I'm going to use zigzag lines because it could look like a cracked egg. It could look like the waves in the water, and it could look like flames, and all those things to me have to do with a dragon. So I'm going to add the wall to the base, and if you accidentally cut the triangle down too low, you can still sit that triangle on the edge of your base. So if you're using earthenware clay, you're going to wet the edge of where your wall is going to sit. You're going to scratch it just a little bit, just real easy. Scratch it where it's going to sit. This is called scoring. And then go back and crisscross it. This helps it to stick better. The water helps it to stick. And you have got to put pressure on it. You just can't sit it on there and say it's going to stay, because it won't. It will come off when I fire it. But if you're using modeling clay, you don't have to worry about that. So I have set that wall where I have scored it. Sitting this wall here. Now if I want to put another couple of triangles here and connect it, I can do that. You can go all the way around. You can build it up higher if you want to. That's fine. So now I've got my base and I've got my wall. So if I wanted to do eggs, I know you know how to do eggs. That's super easy. I've had some students just, you know, leave the eggs sitting right in there beside the wall, and that way we won't lose them when I fire them. But if you're doing, you know, model magic or modeling clay or even Play-Doh, you don't have to worry about that. So next we're going to make our dragon. So this was the golf size ball, and roll it around a little bit, roll it back and forth, roll it on the table if you need to. Now how I'm going to do this dragon is his body is going to be shaped like a cursive W, and then we can do we can put some scales on it, we can put some horns on it. If you want to put wings on it, you can. If you're using modeling clay, that works really good. Alright, so my dragon needs to be, this is longer than what I want, but that's fine. I can always curl up the tail or cut it off, whichever one I need to do. Okay. So roll this out, probably about the size of your thumb is a good size. Like I said, I've got more than I need. I probably got enough to do 2 dragons. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is to bend this where it looks like a W. Now this end's going to be the tail. So I'm going to squeeze and pinch that and make it tinier for the tail. I'm going to bend this up. Try to pinch the end of it to make it look like the shape of your dragon. Got a couple little cracks there. So I can take and pinch the top of the W and make it look like it's got scales. I can also take my pinky nail and carve into it and make it look like it's got scales. Another thing which I do not have with me today is paper clips. If you unfold the paper clip just one time, you can press this into the side of your dragon and it makes it look really a lot more like the scales. So right now it looks like a Loch Ness monster, I'd say, which that's kind of a dragon. It's definitely a reptile. Okay, so now I've got the tail, I've got some scales. I'm going to take my needle, which you would use a paper clip. You can cut into, you can cut into the end of it to make his mouth. You can use paper clips, sorry guys. You can make his eyes look like his eyes are closed. We got to add some horns. If you're using earthenware clay, it's kind of hard to get the teeth in there because it's so small. But if you're using modeling clay, it's perfect to put some teeth in there, or even flames coming out of its mouth. I'm going to pinch off a couple of pieces here for the horns. I've got to wet it. I assume that they're horns. That's what the students tell me. And they point backwards. I kind of think they're ears, but I think the kids told me they were horns. So there's one. I've stuck on there and wet it so it'll stay. This one I think I might have to make a little bit bigger. We'll put some legs on it in just a second, and I'm going to attempt to do some wings, which is optional. And you can make as many dragons as you want. Please send me a picture of it on Dojo if you would. You know, you guys that are doing remote, you guys are really, really creative because you don't really have anybody there to give you feedback immediately. So you guys are taking the lessons that I'm giving you and you're really doing some creative stuff. I'm really super proud. And that's what we need to always do. Not rely on it looking just like mine. Just working with what you've got and making it your own. So we got my dragon. So, oh, I forgot his nose holes. I just take, you have a paper clip, you put some nose holes in there, you can put teeth if you got modeling clay. Earthenware clay is a little bit more tedious to try to get those in there. Of course, if you make your dragon a little bit bigger, that'll work too. Okay, so I'm going to sit my dragon right here on the edge of the wall. We'll scratch it and put a little water on it. I'm going to sit him right here, push it down in there. You can pull it apart a little bit. That way, if you want to, you can pinch up some more scales once you get him set on there. Now, if you want to do legs, you can. If you want to do wings, I think I'm gonna try some wings first. See if I can do that. Let me give you a shot of the side of it there. And he can actually, you can make him kind of prop up against the wall. Or not, well, it is a wall, but it's a wall of fire or the dragon or the water, because those all have to do with dragons. I even have room for another one. So I think I'm gonna roll out a ball, probably about as big as a gumball. One of those sour balls. It's a good size. Alright. I think if we do a triangle, that might give us a little wing shape on there. And we can always carve. I'm going to carve some lines in it. And with earthenware clay is a little tricky. Let's do another one. And we use this as a stencil to so I can kind of get them the same size. And you don't want it too thick. Probably about 1/4 of an inch. Was about half of a pencil. It's a little short. See if I can spread it out a little bit more. Oops. Now, you know, when you have earthenware clay, the more you work with it, the more dried out it gets, and the harder it is for it to do anything. So you got to keep everything moist. Alright, let's get his wings. I think I'm just going to stick with wings. I'm not going to worry about legs because it will be so far underneath there I don't think anybody would see, unless I moved him over. So I'm going to attach his wings right here on the sides. Okay, gotta squeeze them on there. See what the wings look like. I like the wings. Pretty snazzy. Looks good. Okay, so if you're going to use my clay and bring it back to school, you know you got to put your initials on it clearly. So there's my initials on mine. Bring it to me while it's still soft. I can fire it for you. It will come back, and I'll let you know. It will be white, and then you can paint it. The Dollar Tree has some acrylic paint, which I was surprised for $1 a tube. It's about 2 ounces, which is not bad. That goes a long way. So I hope you're able to do your clay dragon and have fun with it.